Tommy, can you believe that we have not driven this Tesla for over 1,500 miles? And we'll show you what percentage it's been in full self-driving in a second. But today we're about to go on a cross-state road trip.
That's right, so we gotta go pick up a new Land Cruiser, or I should say a new old Land Cruiser up in Aspen, which is a 200-mile trip from where we're at here in Boulder. And we're gonna see if we can do the whole thing without ever touching the steering wheel.
Yeah, and it's gonna be challenging because we're gonna go into the mountains. So there's gonna be steep curves, there's gonna be construction, there's gonna be beautiful scenery.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the drive, and it should be a really great test of the full self-driving system. So let's get loaded up and hit the road. So let's see what percent here we've done full self-driving. Autopilot, ooh, 99%, Dad.
Yeah, and this series, of course, is called Hands-Free 2000, so the goal is to go 2,000 miles without ever touching the steering wheel, and we're at 1,500, and we're about to add another, what, 400?
Yeah, something like that, round trip. Here you can see our full self-driving software is 14.2.4, and then our vehicle software is 2025.45.9.
Which should be the latest. And as you know, if you've been following the series, every week somebody else has had this vehicle to self-drive. And we promised you a road trip to see how it does when we're actually going a pretty long distance. So shall we use Grok to tell it where to go?
Yeah, so we're going to navigate to Snowmass, Colorado.
Let's see how far that is. Grok, navigate to Snowmass, Colorado.
There you go. Calculating.
Ooh, that's a long way.
It's stuck.
That's a long way.
It's about 206 miles away, 3 hours and 42 minutes to Snowmass Village.
Now it says we're going to get there with 25%. I don't know if I believe that at all. But we're going to find out here in a sec if that's going to be real.
Well, I'm at 96%.
Yeah, but we're driving through the mountains, and we know that Tesla's computer's usually a little optimistic.
I hope there's a supercharger in Snowmass. All right, shall we do it?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. On the road again. So 1,500 miles of hands-free driving, and I have to say I'm looking forward to actually being able to drive this car. I really like driving, and especially around town, it's kind of a pain in the butt when you have to go to the post office and have the car self-drive you there, because it takes a different route than I would take. It sometimes has a hard time figuring out where to park, and it's just easier for me, especially around town, to just jump in and drive there myself. But I'm curious to see what it's like on a road trip, to see if it's actually more, well, easier, if I'm going to be less tired at the end of this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think around town, it's not that it doesn't work well. It does work well. But I do agree with you that, we're just creatures of habit. We get into our usual routes, and it's always a little off-putting if it takes a route that's not the same, or sometimes it just does some wacky things with how it navigates places. Not that it's bad, it's just, I want to be able to control more how and where I'm getting places and where I park. But it's really, really good on the highway, and today's drive is going to be mostly highway, albeit up some pretty tricky mountain passes.
Yeah, so I had to go to the post office this morning, but because I can't drive the car for the series, I thought to myself, first I got to tell the car to go to the post office, and then I got to tell it to go to the office. And yes, there is a setting there for work, but it's still easier for me to just jump in and do it myself. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit a prisoner of full self-driving, if you see what I mean. Like, it doesn't give me the freedom that I want to do when I want, how I want. I kind of have to go along with the program that the AI decides for me. And at the end of the day, maybe it's just the fact that, I've been driving myself for my whole life, and it's a new way of getting transported around. But I think it would be similar if I had a driver. I would never want to have a driver, actually, Tommy. I would always rather drive myself. It's like, where would you rather sit let's say if you had a Rolls Royce, would you rather sit here in the steering wheel, in front of the steering wheel, or would you rather sit in the back? And I think a lot of people would say they'd rather sit in the back. I would actually rather sit where I'm sitting at right now. All right, now we're on the highway, I-70, and it's actually doing really well, Tommy. I'm impressed by how well this car is driving. Not only is it keeping the vehicle in the center of the lane, it's actually passing cars at the same time that I would pass cars. And I think that's kind of the trick, is that if you can get the vehicle to drive like you would, then you feel much more comfortable not driving it. And of course, Tesla does that by having these different modes where you can switch from, you know, sloth all the way to at max. And what's interesting and a little odd is that in standard mode, it actually is going faster than the speed limit, because the speed limit here is 65 and the car is actually doing 70, which is 69 now, which is a little odd. But there's a car in front of me, like I was saying, it's Lexus TX, and it just you know, passed him like I would, and this time it passed him on the left, which is good.
Yeah, sometimes it even passes on the right, which is not probably good. Less good. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's a cop.
There's
I wonder
a cop
if that's
right there.
going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still responsible for this, so the question you might be asking is, you know, now car's going 6 miles over the speed limit, am I going to be the one ticketed? And the answer is, hell yeah.
Yeah, you would be.
I would be. I could try, I guess. That would be an interesting part of this video, try to explain to him that it wasn't me, officer, it was the car, and I was only on standard mode, but I don't think that would fly.
Is he coming down the hill?
No.
I don't think so, no. But, yeah, I think that it's surprisingly confident in the mountains, and this is an area where a lot of lane centering systems and even a lot of the hands-free systems from other automakers in the turns here in the Rocky Mountains kind of struggle and sometimes deactivate if the radius of the turn is too sharp or if you're going too fast or whatever. But the Tesla is very, very confident in these turns, and that's kind of what sets them a league above the rest, I think.
And we've been, you know, reviewing cars now with various forms of autonomy, from Blue Cruise to Super Cruise, for a while, and they're getting better at like doing things that don't make you nervous. Like, for instance, we're about to pass these two trucks, and I remember when we had one of the first versions of Super Cruise and Blue Cruise, because it's a computer, the car would put you very close to the truck, and as a human, you don't want to be next to an 18-wheeler. You normally kind of push over to the side, and the latest systems are doing that. Now, there's a Subaru behind me right now that's right on my butt, and the car has a camera back there, so it knows. I'm curious to see if it'll actually get out of its way or if it'll continue to pass this truck. I think it's going to try to pass the truck. And let's see how close we get to the truck. Let's see if it actually puts us more to the left of the lane as opposed to closer to the truck.
It's a very slow pass
It's
here.
a very slow pass, yes. Well, the truck's also hauling butt.
Yeah, that's because we're going downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can see right there, we're closer to the inside right now than we are to the truck, which is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That works really, really well. Yeah, I mean, I think as a whole that the system is just getting better and better and better. Remember when we had our Cybertruck and it just kind of barely worked? And now it's to the point where, you know, in some cases I think the decisions it makes are smarter than what a lot of drivers would make. It really has gotten that good.
Well,
but the question is, will it get into the right lane to allow this angry Forester to pass?
Let's find out. That's the. Oh, look at that!
Oh yeah, look at that! There it goes.
It's getting out of its way. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's hey, I could go like, hey, it's not me.
Yeah.
You know, Mercedes was talking about this, and it's not a bad idea to actually have some kind of a symbol on the car or visual way of telling other drivers that the car is driving itself as opposed to the driver driving itself, because it would be, from my point of view, good to know if it's full self-driving or if it's the driver behind the wheel.
Yeah, Mercedes wants to put like a turquoise light on the outside. It's what they're pitching to the European regulators, and I think that is pretty smart.
Yeah, that way, if the car does something stupid, I could be like, hey, it's not me, it's the car. There's another Tesla about to pass us, a new Model 3. I wonder if he's full self-driving. I'm curious. Let's see what happens here.
Maybe you're just going to crash into each other or something?
They're both white. Wouldn't that be the accident? All right, let's see if he's got his hands on the wheel or if he's or she's actually driving. Hands on the wheel, driving.
Driving.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, now you're behind the wheel and yet another policeman. This must be one of those days where they decide to do a lot of law enforcement.
Yeah, they've been everywhere. But look, the car's going too quick here.
I know.
Chill out, car.
You can do it with the scroll wheel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, see?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, makes it easier.
Right on. Yeah, so we traded drivers, so now I'm taking over. Well, the car's still driving, but I'm taking over from my dad from sitting and babysitting it.
Yeah, now you're not driving.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta say, like, you know, as a whole for a road trip, I really love this system. I think it's very, very, very relaxing. And you do feel more refreshed when you get to your destination because it's just so much less concentration.
And we are about to enter an interesting part of this I-70 road trip, and that is Glenwood Canyon. And Glenwood Canyon is probably the twistiest part of all of I-70 going through Colorado, at least.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's also one of the most scenic parts, but it's where the interstate has to kind of glide its way along the Colorado River. And you can see there's the river down there. So you end up with a ton of turns and twists and sharp radius situations here. Oh yeah, working like a charm here. This is great news. It's doing a really, really good job.
And this is actually very hard. It's actually hard when you drive it, let alone when the car drives it. So I'm impressed, Tommy.
Yeah, it's really good. 60 miles an hour is the speed limit here, and it's holding 62. It's going a little bit quicker. But the car's doing a really good job. Now, let's talk about the lane discipline. Sometimes, like you said, that it does things where it moves over in times you don't want, and other times it works perfectly like now, where it'll kind of kick over to stay in the right lane, but you can manually override it by just turning on the turn signal, and it will scoot over a lane.
The other thing that's kind of odd is if you actually want to take control, there's a lot of pressure on that wheel for you to take control.
Well, the thing to do is just tap the brake.
Oh, that's
just tap the brake and you can take control.
And then if you want to just go back to it, you just click full self-driving back on the screen.
Yeah, because there is a lot of pressure to yank it out of self-driving, but if you just tap the brake, it'll do it.
And it doesn't put you in FSD jail when you do that, which is nice.
No, I've never experienced FSD jail, although didn't Case get put in FSD jail?
I think it tells you 5 times where you don't take control, then
it puts you in jail.
Then it puts you in jail, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of defeats the purpose of it, though. What's the point of having it if you can't use it?
I mean, I think my big takeaway is that consistently it does better in pretty much every environment than I could have possibly imagined. It is so good at figuring out road conditions, except for parking lots. It really sucks in parking lots still, which is hilarious because through this difficult interstate stretch, works great. You get it in a Mickey D's parking lot and it like goes into full panic mode. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't, like when...
This should be hard for a driver and it's easy for the car, and then when you get it into a situation where there's other cars pulling in and out and it doesn't know where to go, it just like panics. So it's kind of reverse of what you'd expect.
Hey Tommy, we made it to Snow Mass actually, and guess what we just picked up?
Yeah, check this out. This is a 241,000 mile 2005 Toyota Land Cruiser. This is going to be our new car on the channel.
Yeah, and no, it does not steer itself or brake for itself. This is a very old school car. And if you guys are interested in this, we're going to do a video specifically around this car, showing you all the ins and outs, showing you what is wrong and what is right with it. So head on over to all TFL to see that. But we got to head back home with this, and we're running out of power in the Tesla, Tommy, so we got to go charge it.
Yeah, so let's go stick some info in the navigation system and see where it tells us to supercharge.
All right, now this is where always range anxiety comes in, because we're at 30% of the battery and we've gone how far?
200 and some miles, so actually we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see how far to get to Boulder, back home.
Calculating.
Yeah, I listen, 30%, we should have plenty of charge to get to a supercharger on I-70. There we go. Yeah, okay, so it's got us stopping in Edwards, Colorado, which I think is a pretty good supercharger.
Yeah, let's make sure it's a good one.
Let's see, it is 250 kilowatts.
And 10 of 12 available.
Yep, I think there's another one in Gypsum too if you don't want to go to Edwards. So we've got options. So it's skipping 2, going to the third one. This one's a 325 though, so that's even more potentially. Ooh, it even shows you the nearby amenities. Oh, this is the one with the Wendy's and the Shell.
Okay.
So we could stop at this one, that's fine. Or we could stop at Gypsum and there's a dominant, there's not a lot of anywhere. So I guess we'll just go until you feel like stopping. Cool.
How much power do we get there?
If we go to Edwards, we'll be at 7.
Yeah.
If we go to Gypsum, I think we'll be higher.
Well, I don't think this car can charge at 350, so.
Let's see. This one, it's 325. Maybe we can have that. Let's see. We'll be at 14.
Yeah,
Cool?
yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Better. It's a faster supercharger, so I say we go there.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, now you're going to drive that, right?
Yep, that's my plan.
All right, and then
We'll catch up at the supercharger.
we'll close it up at the supercharger. All right, Tommy, we made it to the charger with 6% left, but it's quickly charging. How much are we putting in?
We are at 165 kilowatts.
That's pretty good. Let's see how far we went since last charge.
286 miles. Pretty decent. I was wrong about that. That's actually very good.
We had 6% left, so you're looking probably close to 300
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
for being in the mountains, yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. All right, well, there you have it, guys. I have one final question for you, Tommy.
What's that, Dad?
Now, you've been driving the Land Cruiser,
Uh-huh.
and I've been self-driving.
Yep.
Would you rather be driving, or would you rather be not driving?
Well, if we were anywhere but the beautiful Rockies, I would say I'd rather be in the Tesla. But when you've got the nice twisty roads, it's kind of fun driving.
Even with that guy, a 250,000-mile Land Cruiser, which is probably working pretty hard up here.
It does okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, it does okay. It's still pretty fun.
Well, there you have it, guys. Our road trip is completed. The Tesla has done really well. We've got one more episode coming up next where we all kind of give our final thoughts about, is self-driving the future, or is it just a flash in the pan, Tommy?
And we're almost at 2,000, which is the goal of the series.
Yeah, we're 200 away basically. So
Not bad.
by the time you see us next, we'll have made 2,000 at 99%. That's pretty amazing.
Nice. All right. See you guys.
Remember, go to altfl.com for more news, views, and Land Cruiser reviews. See you next time. Ciao.